Hello, YouTube, and welcome into COMMCast Season 3, Episode 10 of Behind the Scenes Spectacular. I'm your host, Dr. Ryan Stover here. COMMCast is a production of the Longwood University Communication Studies Department and CommLab, COM 434. Get it? The area code? On COMMCast, we get to know members of the Longwood and Farmville communities. On this episode, we're going to get to know all of them. Well, welcome back here on this behind-the-scenes spectacular episode here. We're going to get to know all the members of the CommLab class this semester by starting out with Quinn. How you doing today, Quinn?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderfully here. I get to host some YouTube, so there's nothing better than that. So, Quinn, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background here, and why you took CommLab.
Yeah, I've been at Longwood for this is my 4th year now, so I'm a senior. I've been trying to get into CommLab for the last couple years, but I'm a double major with anthropology. So classes conflict, so it took me a little bit to get here, but I'm glad I'm here now. So.
Excellent. What drew you to CommLab?
I have been hearing about it from all of my classmates, like Jacob, and I heard it from you and Professor Halliday, and I really was interested in being able to create those creative videos that I've been wanting to instead of just sticking to the regular syllabus. I wanted to have some creativity and flow and what I wanted to do with my ideas.
Perfect. Why don't you give us a little background on who your creative client this semester was, and then in a minute we'll take a look at the video.
Yeah, so this semester I worked with Central Virginia Christian School, which is a non-for-profit Christian school out in Buckingham County. And they were looking for fundraising to start up their high school for the next coming years. They asked me to make a promotional video about it that would show them about how to recruit new families to the organization and also how to recruit money from businesses as well to support the financials. Awesome.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the video, or one of the videos, I should say, Quinn produced this semester.
Just that it's such a kind and loving environment. I just really want to get a high school because it would just be such a great opportunity for a lot of children to go to and learn about Jesus.
We have definitely noticed over the years that children that go here K through 8, they're more grounded when they go to high school. And so we can only anticipate that adding 4 years to that is really going to shore them up for the culture that they're walking into. Adding that 4 years of pouring God's word into them, expecting excellence, will create dynamic citizens that will impact the world with Christian character. It started with our graduates expressing to us their desire for high school and their desire to continue a Christian education here at CVCS.
I think that having a high school could benefit all kids, especially because high school does get tough. I feel like here there's no peer pressure to do anything that's not what God would want. So that high school could help kids in those upper grades just to not feel that peer pressure and just to help them grow in Christ and learn more about it.
That was awesome, Quinn. Why don't you take us a little behind the scenes? What were maybe one of the challenges in producing this video that we might not be aware of?
Yeah, so one of the challenges was this has been an ongoing project for a couple months now. And every single time that we had set up a time to meet or anything like that, it had to get pushed back again. There's a little bit of a miscommunication on my side, and we were able to correct it and figure it out and work forward. And I was lucky to have such amazing clients that were able to and willing to work with me around my college schedule and around different family things that have popped up in emergencies. So it was a little bit tough getting there, but I'm really proud of the end results.
That's awesome. No, I am very happy with it here too. And I think in so many facets of like communication, right? It's all about that communication. So let's get out of here with one last question. What's kind of your takeaways from CommLab this semester?
It is a class where I can grow in those certain aspects of videography that I'm not the best in. I am really proud of my editing, and I have been for a long time, and I really needed that confidence behind the camera, and CommLab let me do that by using a variety of different shots, using B-roll as well as interviews, and it wasn't just so structured as all the other classes were, so I was able to have that creativity and gain my confidence behind a camera.
Well, that's awesome, Quinn. Thank you very much. Thanks for a great semester here, and thanks for coming on. What we're going to do now is we're going to take you behind the scenes to talk a little about how we make this studio program while our next guest gets ready to come on here. So let's cut to that behind the scenes camera here, and we will take you through what's going on here as Quinn gets off the set and go ahead and leave you could depart with the mic later on here. So let's take you a little behind the scenes here to see what's going on here. You can, of course, see me on set here with our lovely monitors and our lights here. This is the studio floor. We are set up with 3 cameras in the studio floor here, so we can have 3 different camera operators and get your classic 3-camera setup. In the positions we have in the studio floor are a floor director. You can kind of see the headset and the lights there a little bit. Oh, Alexandra's picking up that direction. And so she will be in charge of the studio floor, the floor director. That's a great quiz question, by the way. And so they are the communication liaison between the director and everything that's going on out here. And then, of course, we have our camera operators. You can see Christian moving on over here, and then our next guest here, a little off screen, getting mic'd up. So the studio floor often consists of 4 different positions here to help make the things run smoothly. But of course, in smaller crew settings, we can sometimes run with less people here. The other cool thing about this program, we are constantly switching all positions here, so everyone's getting hands-on chance to do everything here. So we'll switch to our new director and technical director and come back with our latest guest, Lauren. As soon as they are ready. Are we ready to talk to Lauren?
Can they hear Lauren?
Yeah, well, I will continue to talk until we move, get everything positioned into our next guest here. Lauren will be up soon. Well, you can see Lauren right here. Hello. But before we get to that here, Lauren, what takeaways do you have from, what should we know about behind the scenes here? You can do some play-by-play announcing with me.
Behind the scenes?
Yeah, what do we see on the screen that our viewers should know at the moment?
Oh, so Christian is over there working on camera 3 and trying to look at someone to see if he can hear.
Oh!
They're trying to get the shots right.
Hey, we're back on camera here. So let's
Hello.
welcome in Lauren. Hello, Lauren. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderfully. As everyone continue to ask me how I'm doing, we'll see. It's a test of human communication. So, Lauren, tell us a little about yourself.
I'm a junior this year, and I'm a communications with a digital media concentration. Yeah.
And what's your goal when you get out of this fine institution?
So I have a little bit of a more broad goal, and it is to apply to culinary school as soon as I get out of here. And I want to take the video aspect that I'm learning from all of this and pair it with cooking culinary meals and putting it together to really show the world that it's possible and you can do this, and just kind of try to go in that kind of way.
I'm a huge fan of that. As you know, I have a personal Instagram dedicated to food and gardening as well,
Yes.
too. So I've been obsessed with food media. In fact, teach a couple courses on food and communication, so I think that's awesome. How does CommLab help you kind of prepare for that?
CommLab has helped me. I honestly came into this year not really well knowing my editing skills or behind the camera. I really didn't feel confident in it. And throughout this just semester, I've felt confident to be able to come into so and know exactly what I need to do and know what needs to get done and how to get it. So that's really helped.
That is awesome and great to hear. So, Lauren, you produced an episode of CommCast where we had the mayor.
Yes.
Can you take us through what it's a little bit like to produce that? Because we're going to watch a clip of that in a second.
So that was really, really fun to do. The mayor was absolutely amazing and was totally on board. We did kind of throw a surprise trivia game at him. And it was really cool because I got to go behind the scenes and find all this information about the town and see if he did know all of this. And he was on point with every single question, I believe.
Excellent. So let's go ahead and take a look at that clip here from CommCast. Excuse me, episode 3, I do believe?
Yes?
Sure, we're going to go with that.
Okay. Dang. Next question. What is the square mileage of Farmville, Virginia?
8.4 square miles?
Close.
7.4 square
Oh,
miles.
there it is, 7.4. It was his first try. When did Farmville start hosting the Heart of Virginia Festival?
That I don't know. You see my eyes? I'm pretty sure I came across that piece of information recently because we just had it.
We did. It's a great
But
turnout.
I'm gonna just 1962. I don't know.
Answer? 79.
That was a little early.
When was Farmville formed? Formed.
I know that you're using this word formed. 1798 was when we came to be Farmville, right?
Is that your final answer?
I'm gonna go 1798.
Very good. Incorporated in 1912.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, that was great. And I love the cut back to us sitting on the exact same stage here. So, Lauren, what were some of the challenges in producing that episode?
Probably the challenge was it was supposed to be a week later than it was, and we ended up having to kind of speed things along. But it truly was, I liked the challenge to be able to put it together that quick and it come out successful. And that's what I really did enjoy about it.
Yeah, I think it was great. And we do want to thank, of course, the mayor and all the other guests we've had on COMMCast this season here, because they've been great. And of course, we couldn't do this without them. So huge thanks there. Why don't you quickly tell us, Lauren, about your creative project you're working on for the special that's not quite done yet, but we'll see pretty soon.
So right now I'm working with the Blue Heat dance team, and they are such an amazing group of girls to be able to work with. I'd reached out to them and just kind of felt it out and was like, hey, would you guys want something? And I've never gotten a yes back. So just like, please. And when I sat down with them, every single one of the girls is just so willing to just be there. And I think I'm calling them tomorrow. We're calling them in an hour early for practice. And so they have an extra hour of practice that they didn't know, but they are truly an amazing group. And I can't wait to show them what I've been working on.
That's awesome. And I think that is one of the kind of the nice things about this class is we get to produce videos and highlight clients that would never get the opportunity otherwise, because obviously Blue Heat doesn't have a budget to afford video production. And maybe they have a member or two to do something, but we can dedicate a whole team, well, in your case, a team of two to dedicate to that video here. So we'll get you out of here on this question, Lauren. Kind of what's going to be your takeaway from CommLab, you think, here as we approach the end of the semester now?
My takeaway from CommLab would honestly be the people in the classroom, as well as the skills that they have been able to teach me. Like my partner in all of these videos has been able to truly teach me the basics of editing and beyond, and I'm always going to be grateful for all of that.
That's awesome, and I think definitely in an environment like this, it's not just me, right? It's not just the instructor, it is a group here. And there's one very special important person we have to mention too. Maybe we can get the control room cam right now as he walks by there. Oh, Jace, back in frame, please. Mr. Jace Frank, our broadcast studio managing engineer, along with 18 other jobs he does on this campus here. But of course, he is an integral part of this class, and we could not do it without him. So we definitely want to thank all your fellow students and him as well here too. So, Lauren, thank you for joining us here. We'll go back to that behind the scenes camera and look at our audio position here while our next guest comes out.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. So let's go ahead into that control room camera now and take a look and talk about a job in that control room there. Oh, it's centered on the director, so we'll talk about the directing job right now. You see George in the blue casually sliding out of there. Jacob sliding into the hot seat, getting ready to go. Make sure you stretch, Jacob. We don't want any pulled limbs, any hurt muscles, something like that. But let's talk about that position, the director's job right there. That is the hardest position in live production. I don't care what the live production is. That director's job is very, very difficult because they're responsible for the entire look of the program. We have a producer who's in charge of the content of the program, research, things like that. But that director position is in charge of everything you see here. So in a semi-scripted environment like this, if you've watched a few CommCast episodes this season, you'll see we don't always get it right? We try our best, but there obviously mistakes are made, some things like this, because the challenge there is normally Jacob would have a large piece of paper in front of him with a script and a rundown, and he would kind of go through those and match those up. Thanks, George. That's right there. This program, we're having a little bit more fun, freewheeling a little bit more, but the challenge with that director's job is to make sure we're on task, but to also make sure everything looks good. So you got to be able to multitask, make sure everything's occurring properly, but also make sure everything looks good. And in the case of a semi-scripted program like this, that's sometimes a challenge when you have guests, who either give very long-winded answers or sometimes very short-winded answers. So that could be a unique challenge here. So we come back out to the studio floor with Caden. Are we ready to get to know Caden? Hey, welcome back here. Caden joined us today. Caden, how are you?
Good.
Good. Even though you're a Capitals fan, you're still doing okay today?
Yeah.
Well, Caden, tell me a little about yourself, please.
I'm a comm major with digital media concentration, and that's mainly what you can do.
Where are you from, Caden?
Chester, Virginia.
Nice. And what do you want to do when you get out of here?
Probably be an SID for like a professional sports team or college team.
You want to tell the folks at home what an SID does and what a little more about that?
An SID is like when you help all the teams out with like stats, running them out to getting starting watches from coaches and all that, and doing social media, posting that.
So all kind of that communication that surrounds the sports club there. Very cool, very cool. So tell me a little bit about what drew you to CommLab.
Professors, advisors, saying like you'll be able to do like group projects or filmmaking. That like.
Okay. Have we lived up to that?
Yeah.
That is awesome here. And so you got to do your creative project and kind of the golf team here. You want to tell us a little bit about how that came about?
It was a tough thing. I was shots to get for it, and some golf things was like energetic and trying to figure out what song matches and all that.
Yeah, music is that challenge of picking music is something I know I always struggle with here. You a golfer, Caden?
No.
Might be another challenge here too. Some people, not yours truly, because I love the sport, may say golf is not a sport.
Yeah.
They are full of it. I think it's a great sport here, but it could be a challenge, right? It's kind of acquired taste and a lot of niche content there. So let's take a look at where that hype video, what came out of that product with the golf team. Some here, and of course, great time to pick a golf video when you get the defending Big South Conference champions here. So, Caden, you already mentioned the challenges of kind of figuring out the shots, but what are some of the other challenges that went into producing this video?
It was hard because of my wrist was sprained, so I was like trying to get with like the group mates I have with like George and Jacob in the booth. Like they helped out a lot and they had good shots, and we combined stuff with our ideas.
And I think this is the true with a lot of video production, right? The YouTube era changes things a little bit, but it's a team, right? A lot of things, you're only as good as your weakest member here, and you got to rely on that team. So that was awesome. They came together for you there. Well, Caden, you're a junior, right?
Yeah.
So where do you see on your horizon for next year, your final, or I should say next semester, and then next year along with other video projects you may be working on?
Because I know I'm doing CommLab again next semester.
Ah, nice.
So possibly another sports team and see how that goes.
Fabulous.
Or probably a club team.
Okay, because you're playing club lacrosse too, right? Nice. Hype video for them?
Possibly.
Get one coming up. Sweet. All right, I'll get you out of here on this, Caden. What do you think your lasting takeaway is from this semester of CommLab? That is something you mentioned here, and one of the cool things about CommLab, students can take it up to 3 times for 9 credits here, right? It has different qualifications, but because the client projects, the studio projects always change, you can take it a couple different times. So what's kind of your takeaway from this semester that makes you want to sign up for again next semester?
Like teamwork and having a group that you know, and editing. Because you take that from like media production and digital editing, and it helps combine it.
Yeah, right, and kind of hopefully take it to new levels here on this way in a much different format with more creative energy, as we've heard from a couple of different people. Excuse me. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming out here, Caden. We will now move to our behind-the-scenes camera again, and let's see what position we're going to talk about with this one. You are good, Caden. Nope. Let's go to the control room, please. Hey, our technical director, Quinn, is sitting on that position right now. Oh, never mind, she quit. Lauren has been promoted to technical director there. So you can see Lauren is in front of that gigantic board here, which can seem a bit overwhelming, but frankly, it is not confusing as it looks. Lauren, the bottom 5 row of buttons, if you want to just kind of highlight those for our guests versus the top 5 row. Nope, the top, go up higher. Yay, there you go. These essentially do the same thing here. So you see there's a lot going on, you're not quite sure what you're going to do, but it's essentially mirroring the same thing twice. So you can how you could do effects where you could pull something in and use it in the same place. So what we do on that is we ready cameras or ready the next shot. We always want to be one shot ahead in a live environment like this. Now, this is not the case for sports, right? You do sports production, things are moving at a much faster pace. But in our variety, with the pace things move at here, we always ready our shots here. So we will ready camera 1, camera 2, 3, 4, 5, ready a clip of video clips. All those samples you've been seeing that we bring in are all called clips. So we ready those. And then when our director here, in this case Quinn, wants us to take those, she will say take, cut, dissolve, different terminology for different technical things here, but they all basically mean the same thing, like, hey, that shot's ready to go, let's make it happen. And so Lauren is the one who actually presses those buttons and makes it all happen. And so I always say the technical director has to follow the director off a bridge. So even if the director makes a mistake, the technical director just has to go with it because the director's in charge here and we have to listen to our leader. And even if they're trying to do the right thing, it can often get confusing if they go it on their own. So a complicated job, but I think personally one of my favorite jobs here because you do get to press some buttons and have some fun with that, but there's a lot going on there. So let's move on to our next guest, and joining us in the studio here now is Christian. Christian, how are you today?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. So Christian, tell me a little about yourself.
I'm a communication studies major. I'm 20 years old. I'm a junior here at Longwood University. I film and direct music videos, and I like CommLab.
I love it. So Christian, tell me a little about that filming and directing music videos, because you've had quite a history here on YouTube already.
Yeah, so I've been filming for about 3.5 years now. It'll be 4 years in May. I've accumulated like a lot of views. Right now we're at like 1.1 thousand subscribers on YouTube. I'm still trying to work on getting monetized because YouTube just keeps denying my appeals and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's pretty fun.
That's awesome. And I know when I first got to meet Christian, he showed me some of his videos, and you're already getting thousands of views here and doing some awesome work. So it's always awesome to see people come in that have a passion, right? And then to push them a little bit more, and maybe to push you out of your comfort zone a little bit here too.
Yeah.
So can you tell me about a couple of the projects you worked on in CommLab this semester?
In CommLab, I filmed the YMCA commercial.
We're going to watch that later on.
We produced, with my group, well, actually, no. That was my individual project, the CommLab episode with Maria Riascos.
Yep, we're going to have a clip of that in a second.
She did art therapy. And then we also, me and George, we did your short film, the 5-shot film, that I'm sure we'll be watching later this semester.
Yep.
That was fun.
And there's one more I want to hear about, one you haven't finished yet. Your
the
promo.
ASL Club.
Yeah,
The
tell us a
ASL
little
Club
about
promo. I decided to do that because I took 3 years of ASL in high school and then 2 years in college. So I just felt like it was the right thing to do. I don't really know anybody that is hard of hearing or deaf or in the deaf culture, but I personally just like being in it because it puts your brain in a different headspace of communication.
Yeah, and I think as a comm student, is fun stories at the dentist the other day, and of course they had a bunch of junk in my mouth, right? And they're trying to talk about the Twilight movies. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I was able to continue going with them non-verbally, right, while they were up in my mouth. So I think I don't know what that story has to do with anything, but great. But I think it's interesting to look at communication from a different point of view, and I think that's really fascinating. I was so happy you chose that as a topic for your promo video. So looking forward to seeing something soon, but we got a little bit of time yet on that still. But Christian did mention his COMMCast episode, so let's go ahead and take a look at a little bit of a clip from that, and then we'll ask Christian.
What kind of art, I guess, what inspires you to keep on creating art for other people?
For other people, so they could just express themselves. Like, art is not just drawing, it's music, it's dancing. What people do in music, they express themselves. What people do in dance, they express themselves. It's just a broad thing.
And then what projects are you working on right now, and who have you showed that art to? Have you done any, I guess, like galleries or like presentations on your art or anything like that?
Well, all my art is at my mom's home. So if you want to see my art, you go there. That's my gallery. She got it hanging up everywhere. What I'm working on now, I'm working on my friend drawing as of right now. That's about it, because art takes time, so you got to do one at a one, and it's all you paint, and it takes a while to dry.
Okay, and then what's your mom's opinion on your art?
She loves it. Yeah. Lord Jesus. She, like, when we meet somebody or she introduced me to them, she like, oh, here's my art. And I'm like, I'm in school and art pieces take a while, so they just keep wanting art and art. So, like, I'm backed up right now.
Gotcha. And then does your brother, I guess, inspire you to want to do art therapy, especially with children?
Yes, he loves it. So sometimes we draw together. And he's just free, like, he's just himself. So I can see that, and, like, that makes me want. And, like, he asked me to draw, like, can you draw this? Like, I drew Mr. Beast for him. I'm like, why you want this?
Well, that was awesome to get a little bit of snippet there. So, Christian, you were the producer for that episode. What's a producer's job? What'd you have to do for that?
A producer's job is to write the script for it. You need to ask questions. You need to have all questions in line. You also need to know the client that you're working with. so that in case things come up or they go through their questions too fast, you're able to come up with questions on the spot.
What was some of the challenges about producing that episode?
For this episode specifically, I would say coming up with questions on the spot. She ran through my first questions very fast. So as we were live, I had to just brainstorm a little bit and help from your help in the back in the booth. We were able to come up with a lot of different good questions that I think made the episode better.
I think so too. You could tell she was a little nervous at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And then she got a little more comfortable. We started asking questions where she really could express herself, talk about her family, and you could really see her personality come out right there. Christian, what do you think your takeaways are going to be from CommLab this semester?
I would say collaboration and teamwork, because I've worked by myself for so many years.
Yeah.
So like when I see the benefits of working with other people, it's kind of cool because as an editor and a filmer, you're doing all the work and it's a lot of hours. So when you, let's say for the YMCA video, when you're specifically just filming and you could just hand the footage off and then a couple weeks later you see your product, it's kind of cool.
That is really cool, not to have to do it all yourself,
Yeah.
right? And that's the part I really enjoy about having you in this class is I've seen a lot of work, you've done a lot of work here, but I'm enjoying pushing you out of your comfort zone and forcing you to do new kind of work with the teammates too. So it's awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today here. Let's move on to our next behind the scenes position and talk about, graphics. Caden has moved from talent to graphics there. So you can see our two graphical computers right there. On the left-hand side as we run out our lower thirds, our any other graphics like that. I must admit, I have no idea if we've been using lower thirds in this episode. Have we? Yes. Hey, we have. So you've been seeing all those graphics, so that's coming out of that position there. Of course, they could build them from scratch and then update them with the proper text. Frankly, we don't build too many graphics from scratch around here. It's one of those kind of niche jobs that can be very, very time consuming here. So we have some kind of template series we use and run through that. And then that right-hand computer screen here, you could see all our clips or our video clips. I don't know other better term to use them besides our video. We're going to say videos. You can see all the videos on the right-hand side there. And so now Christian's sitting down in that position here. We'll pull up the appropriate video that we're going to watch next. And when the director gives him the cue play, he will go ahead and play that. Ooh, bonus lower third right there. I love it. We have been using those. And the coolest thing here is you see that keyboard Christian's typing on right now and all the funky colors and buttons. That is like a $300 keyboard that basically has a bunch of shortcuts on it. So what a racket to build an expensive keyboard so you could do shortcuts that any other keyboard would do. But the graphics can be a very intensive job here. For this program here, it's not so bad, but when you have multiple clips, multiple talent, and have to run through and keep track of both the on-screen graphics and the video clips can become a big-time job. So, are we ready to talk to our next guest? And hey, we are. So welcome back in. Alexandra is joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Tell us a little about yourself, please.
Alexandra Huerta. I'm a sophomore here at Longwood University, and I'm a comm studies major with a concentration in digital media. And an exciting thing is I actually just got elected as the executive producer for Rotunda Studios.
Woo! Why don't you briefly tell them what Rotunda Studios is? A Rotunda.
Yeah,
is,
so
please.
Rotunda Studios is basically an extension of the Rotunda. So the Rotunda is known for their print and online like news articles and such like that. So the Rotunda Studios is basically an extension of that through video. So we have news, local and national, and then we also have sports news, and then we're actually now coming out with a entertainment show. And another is we just have a talk show where we get to talk with organizations and they get to share their interest and things they do on campus.
That is awesome. It's the most active Rotunda Studios have been in years, and that is very much thanks to you. So awesome job, and congratulations on your recent promotion. Promotion? Sure, we'll call it promotion. Right? So what drew you to CommLab? Why are you here?
I was actually suggested to do it by my friend Quinn, who's also in this class, and she just told me, she's like, hey, there's a couple positions open, and I told the professor about it, and we think that you should do it. And I was like looking at my schedule, and I was like, it actually would fit perfect, and I really wanted to take it because it interested me with having to do like real in-field projects and be able to build my portfolio and getting to work with clients and other team members, and I really wanted to work on strengthening my editing skills.
Excellent. How are we doing on that so far?
Well. There's always room for improvement, but I definitely feel like I've been able to get behind the computer more and working with Premiere and other programs to strengthen myself.
I need to improve my editing skills as well, too. I've not spent enough time. I'm getting a little rusty. But you mentioned working with clients. Tell us a little about your client you worked with this semester.
Right, so we got to work with Tiffany G. She works for the YMCA, and that in itself was an exciting thing to say, that I got to make a promo video for the YMCA. And so with that, they wanted a short video basically explaining the activities and just things that they offer there, and to invite more guests. And it was really interesting because I not only got to get to know their staff, but also some of the members. And some of the setbacks with working with clients is that, sometimes not everything is going to be planned, and that's where you really have to think creatively and always have something ready in the back of your mind. And it was kind of nice to be challenged in that way and come out with such a great project.
I think that's well said, because I mean, a lot of clients, some clients will know exactly what they want.
Right.
Other clients are like, no, you're the expert. You tell me what you want. And that can be a great thing, but it also can be a huge challenge sometimes here. So let's take a look at that YMCA video, the end product here. Christian worked on it too, and Alexandra and Bailey, I believe, too. So let's take a look at what your team produced.
At the Southside Virginia Family YMCA, we believe in the power of community for a place where every person can thrive in their body, mind, and spirit. There are activities for all ages. For kids, they can play, learn, and make great friends. You can ensure that our child care teams are keeping your children safe at all times and ensuring the fun. For the adults, you can excel, get fit, and achieve your goals in the weight room, a variety of classes, and the swimming pool. It's where families spend quality time and make memories that last a lifetime. Our dedicated team cares about your goals and is here to support you every step of the way. There's no limits to what you as a member can do. The YMCA is not just a gym, it's a community.
That was great here. I still want to know whatever that activity is where they jump on moon boots. That looks so much fun. I want to do that here.
Please. I was looking at that. We were in the class, and I was like, we were all just thinking, we're like, this would actually be fun. Can we just come back and do it ourselves?
100%, 100%. One of the things I always love about this discipline is getting to meet people that you would never meet otherwise. You mentioned Tiffany a little bit. Any other characters you got to meet at the Y?
Oh gosh, it was fun one day that we were doing. We were walking out one day after we were doing some interviews with lifeguards, and there was this elderly woman that we got to run into, and poor Christian just got stuck at the door with talking to her, and she had an incredible story, and she was actually taking classes here at Longwood that we discovered. I think it's a creative writing class that she just decided to take. And so it was really interesting to get to see how close to home that we could get with this project.
I think I actually even know who that is. It's such a small world. I believe she's back to get her 4-year degree even.
I believe so.
Yeah, right. I believe she was locked out of Prince Edward's High School in the 50s when they closed, and is now back in her 70s or 80s to get her 4-year undergrad degree. So I don't know her name, but I've heard of her. So that is an awesome story.
Good for her. I would be enjoying retirement. I would not be going back to school.
Me too, me too. So I'm not going to ask you what you're going to do when you get out of here, because you've got a lot of time here left. But what's kind of your goals from this semester? How would you view CommLab this semester, and what might be your takeaway from this semester?
I think the one thing that I've taken away is that the opportunities that I could have at a smaller school, that I'm really just so grateful that I chose to come here and that I had the opportunity to do these things, and professors that believed in me, and also other students that have mentored me and told me about these opportunities and are coming to me being like, you should do this. I think if I was anywhere else, I would still feel lost and not sure what I was doing, and definitely not getting the training and opportunities that I have right now. And so through this all, it's like, I'm being able to build my portfolio right now, and a lot of my friends are like amazed by some of the things I'm doing. So to kind of get to be a trailblazer for them and show them that this is what you can do, and inviting them to do these projects I'm a part of, has been really amazing. So.
That is awesome. Admissions, hopefully you're listening here. There's your pitch, right? That is why you come to Longwood here. We're a small school, and there's of course cons to that, but there's all your benefits. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Alexandra. Let's move on to our next guest here, Bailey. But before we do that, what position are we going to learn more about? Oh, audio board. Quinn's on the audio board. Actually, or is Quinn being fired at the moment? She is being fired at the moment. No, maybe not. I don't know what's going on. It's not like I run this thing or anything, but that is our audio board right there. We could deal, oh my God, is it a digital audio board? So I think like 96 channels or some insane amount of audio sources we can bring in. We have never done that many. I think the most we've ever done is 5, 6, 7, 8 different sources here, but the audio board, as you can see my levels bouncing up and down right there. You can see a little bit of orange. When I get loud, the levels get a bit louder. Lauren, be ready to go. But of course, our goal here, and it's kind of a challenging job, is to keep everything about the same. Of course, I always say you notice sound when it's bad. You generally don't notice good audio because good audio is one of those things we're just used to hearing in life. So when it's done well, we just kind of let it go. But it's when it's not done well, that, oh boy, I don't know what's going on right here now. That is not what you want to do. Glad that didn't say anything worse. And so what Lauren will do there with her left hand, she will monitor the sound for myself and Bailey. And then we had some CD music you may hear when we go live streaming before we get started. And then with the right hand, her right hand, she will monitor the main audio levels here, and of course to make sure we have a good listening experience for you all. And we'll also roll in any clips here from Bailey. We will see a clip of her COMMCast episode in a second. But are we ready to get to know Bailey here?
How does 3 look now?
I'm not quite sure on that, so I'll continue to talk as this program is going way longer than I intended here. But apparently I can talk quite a bit, so we will not have a problem here. Filling time. In a second, we'll be ready, Bailey. Oh! Hey, Bailey, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Tell me a little about yourself, please.
So I'm a senior comm digital media major, and I've been in comm forever, and this is my first year taking comm lab, but I've taken all the other classes. I hope to go into journalism. I did a little bit of digital media marketing and found out through my internship that's not what I want to do. So I'm here to learn more about the production side of journalism, like maybe broadcast is something behind the scenes.
Nice. You answered all my questions already.
Yeah.
The advantage of not going first here. So you took comm lab to kind of get more behind the scenes experience, a little bit of that?
Yes, I took media production last year, and it was kind of an intro class, so I'm trying to get more experience with everything from cameras to like working in the room with like all the settings and stuff, just to like get that experience. Yeah.
What do you think the most challenging part about comm lab has been for you this semester?
I think time management with projects. I think that's like the biggest thing. I haven't had like multiple projects where I've worked for people. It's been more like oh, this thing's due then, but like it's an in-class thing where it's not like I have to go somewhere and like coordinate with people.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge, especially yourself as a Division I athlete here, balancing on that, all the top with your senior year workload on top of comm lab. I can see that being a huge challenge. How do you think comm lab's going to lead to you improving your time management skills?
I think I'll know what to give myself time, like when I need to be doing things, like having like the first thing done so I can move on and do the next thing. I think it'll give me some like motivation to have my best work done if I start earlier and like find the time, like reach out to people earlier and make sure they're able to meet.
And that's always the challenge here of working with those clients is, and I always tell my students this, sadly, our project is not their number one priority, right? It may be your number one priority or even your top 3 priority, but it doesn't hold the same for them. Tell us a little about the COMMCast episode you produced, please.
Okay, so Rob, my assistant coach, he, well, not my assistant coach, but like Track's assistant coach, he has been here for like a short period of time, and they haven't gotten much coverage on him starting this new program up for the Longwood Athletics track program. So he wanted to come on because I was like, I have a COMMCast episode that I need to do. I don't have a person. He was like, I'm more than willing to do it. He was more than willing to answer all the questions about every single thing from like coaches to what he plans to do in the future. So that was exciting. I really enjoyed that, hearing his point of view and just him talking about it because no one really knows that's going on right now.
No, and I think it was great. Rob was a great guest here and very detailed in his responses, which sometimes is a challenge with our guests, but Rob did not challenge us with lack of detail at all. So let's take a little quick look at that, and we're actually going to take a look at our fast trivia question section, and I'm going to ask Bailey about that in a second.
All right, so for our first question, Rob, what universities in England hosted the first college track meet?
Oh, that's a good one, and I probably should know it because I lived in Wales for a little bit. My guess would be Loughborough University.
Let's take a look. Oxford's in Cambridge.
That makes sense. Oxford has the tradition. So.
Yeah. Our next question is, what is the time of the current 100-meter world record by Usain Bolt?
9:58.
Let's take a look. Correct. You got that one right. Okay, 1 for 2. And who currently has the 400-meter world record for men?
Wade Van Niekerk.
Let's see if that's right. That is correct. And for our last question, who is the most decorated U.S. track and field in Olympics history with 11 medals?
Allison Felix.
You want to take us a little behind the scenes? How did Fast Trivia come to be?
He knew like everything, which honestly I had looked up some questions and I was like, maybe he doesn't know, but I don't know. He answered everything the way I was like, you should know this stuff. But I mean, I could have come up with harder questions. I kind of wish I did. He has been running forever. He ran in college. He coached for a while, so he knows that's like, yeah. So I wish I could have come up with something to challenge him, but it's okay.
I thought those questions were rather difficult here, but clearly Rob does know his history. So we'll get you out of here on this, Bailey. You say you want to be a journalist. Do you have a specialty area you want to focus on?
Yes, I want to do politics, that kind of realm. Something more like, I don't know, not just like news. I want something like, oh, what's going on in the world kind of thing. Something, I guess, third world countries, that kind of, I want to cover that. I feel like a lot of people look at what's going on in America, but I would like to like cover other areas in the world.
That's awesome. Yeah. And we need more international news coverage of this country. So best of luck. Hope to be watching stuff from you in the future here. Well, thanks, Bailey, for joining us. We will get to our next guest. But in the meantime, I think we have run out of positions in the behind the scenes that we can cover here. So why don't we show the studio floor again? Hey, there it is. We can switch out guests. We're also running out of time, so we'll make this uber fast here and bring on our next guest, George, Bailey, and then Jacob will be moving into our final position there. All right. This is our first ever live behind-the-scenes spectacular BTW, and we did not practice this nor rehearse it here. So all in all, I think it's going pretty well considering, but clearly we need to get a host who talks less in the future as we are quickly running out of time here on this last broadcast. But are we ready to get to know George? Oh, I see we need a moment longer to make sure George's beautiful face is in focus. And so I will continue to come up with something in the meantime. YouTube, how about that, YouTube? No, what's interesting here is so our studio is set up where we could run it with 9 people as our full crew for our studio production, but we can run it with as little as 3. Now that does bring a lot of challenges here, but also 9 is an interesting number too, as many of our classes are much larger, and so it can be another challenge sometime when we have classes in here on finding ways to keep everyone productive, and so they actually feel like they contribute and have something to do here. So, hey, we're back. George, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
Tell us a little about yourself, George.
Well, my name is George. I am a junior or senior or something
like that, right?
In the middle there. I'm a photographer. I'm a student again, and yeah, happy to be at Longwood. I love this place.
Awesome. Well, it is great to have you back here. What drew you to CommLab?
The first thing that drew me to it was when Halliday said, "Have you heard about this class, CommLab?" And then instantly I was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds great." I'm one of those people that if I'm not doing something practically, I'm not learning it. So like theoretical and talking about it, it doesn't click. You have to put the thing in my hand, and you have to just push me, and then I learn.
And this is the perfect class to do here, right? You have obviously a lot of video and editing skills here, so hopefully I've challenged you a little bit.
Oh,
is there anything you say like, I've improved because of CommLab in this area?
I've definitely gotten quicker.
Okay.
There's been, I was editing in between classes this morning, and managed to get more done than I thought I could. It's definitely gotten quicker, and I hope it just continues to get quicker.
And that is definitely the one thing, right, is if wanting to do this for a living here is efficiency is very, very key. So, George, you want to quickly tell us about your CommCast episode your creative project you produced this semester. We're going to take a look at that in a second.
Yes, with hopefully soon-to-be Dr. Katrina Marks.
Yes.
Professor Marks. She a visiting professor?
Yes, at the moment.
Visiting professor, yeah. So we wanted to do like kind of a get-to-know-you video, but we didn't want to make it boring. So we decided to sit down right here on that TV right there where I'm looking at my face. We played Mario Kart and talked about her and her life experiences and all sorts of stuff.
It's a great idea. She's even done research on video games, so it fits even better despite being a fan. So let's just take maybe like a 10, 15 second look at what that looked like.
So this is kind of a little like random question, but if you could be an animal for one day, what would you be?
I would be specifically my cat.
Specifically your cat. Okay,
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about your cat?
Her name is Fig.
Okay.
And she's a little tuxie. She's adorable, very pretty,
Mhm.
but all she has to do is lay in a sunbeam all day long.
yeah.
No responsibilities.
So you can go to the Com Studies YouTube channel and check out that full video here. Boring, it's definitely not. But George, what do you think was maybe the largest challenge in producing a video like that?
There were 3 of us in here. I know you were just talking about the magic number 9 to kind of like ideally operate the studio. There were 3 of us, including Jacob, who was sitting there. So me and Caden were back in that control room. Caden was on audio. I was directing and producing and technical directing. So it was tough. Actually, no, Caden was technical directing, but I think that was the biggest limitation of what we had because we were live cutting it.
Yeah.
So kind of what we had is what we had.
Yeah, it's an interesting challenge and something I definitely have never done. I've watched for, but have never done anything like that. I'm guessing that's the same here for you too.
Yeah, first time for me, absolutely.
Beautiful. Last question, takeaway from CommLab this semester.
Great question. I think, oh gosh, I've heard you ask it 10 times now and I didn't prepare an answer. I got to go with Christian's answer, just that collaboration aspect of it. Just working with people who are all so good at what they do, and just being able to split that load up and having people you can trust to get their stuff done, it's fantastic.
Beautiful. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you, George, here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's just bring on Jacob here. Forget the intro because we are quickly running out of time. People have other classes around here. I don't know why. This should be the only class they take, but I guess liberal arts, blah, 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 blah. Hello, Jacob.
Hello.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Jacob Holloway. I'm a senior communication studies major with a concentration in digital media. I'm the communication studies equipment manager. I work with the Moton Museum and the ESPN crew. So a lot of different hats, a lot of different positions.
So you do nothing here is what you're telling me.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
You might notice a trend. We have a lot of digital media concentration here. Of course, the class is mostly designed for them. So, Jacob, why'd you take CommLab?
Well, I took it last year, and it was a lot of fun. Great work getting studio experience and building our portfolio. So I kind of just wanted another one of that, and then I'm going to be doing it again in the spring. So kind of just, to build my skill set, my portfolio, and just get some experience.
It's interesting. You've taken a class now, the exact same class, but taught by different professors.
Yes.
How does that experience differ?
I don't know. You and Halliday are both like charismatic and like easygoing, so it's very laid back. But last year we didn't do live COMMCast. We would do like just pre-recorded and we would edit it. And I think I've enjoyed it better this year because it's not as much work. I produced a lot of episodes last semester, and it was just constant finding footage, interviews, all that jazz. So this has been a lot more laid back and a little more easygoing.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to that live television here. Of course, maybe a little bit less work on the back end. But if we make a mistake, there ain't no fixing it here. And we've made a few this semester, so that's kind of that downside. Jacob, since we are out of time here, why don't you tell us a little about the clip we just saw that you were in? What are some of the challenges of hosting the Professor Marks video?
It was multitasking for sure was the hardest part. I mean, I'm pretty competitive, so I wanted to beat Professor Marks, or at least like put up a fight. And so that was challenging to actually play the game, think of questions. George did a great job preparing questions, but figuring out the right time to ask the questions, and it was just a lot going on at once. So I think multitasking was by far the hardest part of that project and hosting, I guess.
Yeah, it's a difficult challenge, and I don't know, did you win Mario Kart?
Oh yeah.
Well done, Jacob, well done. Finally, last question here. Why do you keep taking CommLab?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably the most fun class I think you could probably take on this campus. Maybe some art classes people can make an argument for, but I mean, like George and Christian said, collaboration's huge, and it's kind of like a little family here. I mean, we see each other twice a week, but we're always constantly working together, which is nice. And then, like I said, getting the experience and building our portfolio, I think this class is like unmatched in comparison to other comm classes. So.
Well, awesome. Well, your continued enrollment in the course, I think, is a great testament here to the comm class's effectiveness. So, we are out of time. We've sadly ran over time even, so we have to wrap up this spectacular episode 10 here, behind the scenes edition of COMMCast. We will truly be back. This is the end of the season, no doubt. So we'll be back in January for season 4 under the direction of Professor Jeff Halliday. If you want to be a COMMCast guest, reach out to him. If you have a nonprofit organization, a student organization, a campus, or a community organization that can use a promo video, reach out to them. Reach out to Professor Halliday. We're always looking for new clients and to highlight organizations around here that are awesome, that stories should be told. So, for the entire crew, for Mr. Jace Frank, I am Dr. Ryan Stouffer. We'll see you next year.